So I did a thing. I just made the change from Nvidia graphics cards to AMD, and I'm loving the experience. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kev, and recently I upgraded from the RTX 2080 Ti to the AMD Radeon RX 7900 XT, and I am having a great time with the experience. It's something that I've considered doing for years, making the switch from Nvidia to AMD, And what many of the things that stopped me were just some of the horror stories that I've heard about AMD. It's missing features. It just sucks. It has driver issues, constant crashes, blue screens, black screens, all kinds of stuff, and none of it has happened to me. Not one thing in about a month. So fingers crossed, knock on wood, that it doesn't happen, but I feel really good and confident about this graphics card. I've been playing VR games. I've been playing with emulators. For those of you that follow me, you already know I like Yuzu. I like Project 64. I like the PlayStation 3 emulator a little bit. I play with emulators on my Steam Deck and on my PC. Hasn't been an issue on this graphics card at all. No performance issues, no really anything major at all. Hey guys, this is Kev in editing. I wanted to clarify that statement there about I had zero issues there. I would say it was mostly a perfect experience. There were some issues here with VR specifically. When I stated that, I had only really tried Beat Saber and Pistol Whip because those are the games I mostly play in VR. When I tried Half-Life Alyx, I did have some issues. I'm going to talk about it more towards the end of the video. And one other thing that I've loved about these cards that I've heard mentioned a little bit, but obviously the AMD user base is really small in terms of graphics. The Adrenaline software is fantastic. So for those of you that don't know, this is basically AMD's kind of software control center. Think of it like the Nvidia control panel and even the GeForce experience. It kind of combines all of that stuff together into one piece of software. Let me pull it up on the screen. I'll show you guys what I mean. So this is the AMD Adrenaline software. As I was saying before, it kind of combines the GeForce experience with the Nvidia control panel and updates, modernizes, and everything. So you can see here, this is how I get my software updates, my driver updates for it. I can link to my phone if I want to. It has a couple AMD ads in here. There's some stuff that talks about with recent games that I've played. I don't think any of these frame rates are actually accurate because, for example, I know I was hitting over 60 FPS on WWE. And then Ryu Jinx, I was playing Tears of the Kingdom, and I was average. And that when I watched it, I was averaging about 30. So I don't know if this guy is actually that accurate, but it offers you a lot of functionality, a lot of features, and there's no login required. This is just on your computer. You just open it like a normal piece of software. You can take your screenshots, you can record videos, you can create GIFs with it, which I haven't played with. This is your instant replay, like when you do the instant replay in Shadow Play, and you can record the last minute, 2-3 minutes, whatever. Same thing there. All that's right here. There are some gaming-centric features, like if you want to tweak your game settings, you can go in there, click that. You can tweak your game settings just like in GeForce Experience. It's really cool. What else we got? Your recording and streaming features. It's actually built into here like you have on in GeForce Experience, except for it gives you a bit more. Like this is basically like a baby OBS, or you can just record your videos here. I haven't tried to edit much in here. I've done minimal recording. I haven't live streamed with it at all. But you see here, you can build your scenes and you can kind of do everything you would like you're in OBS. You can take your clips that you've taken from games in here, everything else. It even has a little mini AMD Afterburner. Here you can here you can actually set your overclocks like as a little mini AMD Afterburner, or MSI Afterburner. I said AMD. A little MSI Afterburner. You can set a little overlay like you would do with Afterburner and monitor your metrics and everything through here. Your performance, all that right there, and you go pop up right in overlay. You can put it wherever you want to on the screen. This is where you would do like your overclocking, or you can have them do some preset stuff if you want to like focus on gaming or sports, power saving, standard, whatever kind of performance you want it to, and it'll adjust your settings for you. That's pretty awesome, and that's just like the bare basics of it. When you go into your settings, you get even more options here. And this is where you can kind of really dial everything down in. Like you have super resolution. Nvidia has something that's called DSR. Same thing there. Anti-lag. Nvidia has that. Radeon Chill. You can actually like limit your FPS to say like your monitor's refresh rate or whatever, so that way you're not using extra power. Or you can Radeon Boost. You can actually use this to reduce resolution during motion and performance, kind of like FSR DLSS, but I don't think it's quite that. I don't use it. I just use DLS. I just use FSR when I need to. Enhanced sync. If you don't have a FreeSync monitor, say you still have a G-Sync monitor, you can use enhanced sync, and that kind of gives you that effect. Image sharpenings. There's so much going on here, man. I'm not going to cover everything. You can tweak some of your monitor settings, or you can just go into Windows and do it. You can set all your hotkeys here. You can set up all of your recording settings here. There's really a lot here. I haven't touched Relive VR. I just use my Steam VR, but I know you can use your VR through here too. I haven't touched that. But this is a big deal to me. This AMDAdrenaline software is such a big deal to me, and it's a big part of I think why the transition for me was easy, because a lot of the stuff is already built into here. And like I said, then on top of that, games just play well. Like, what else can you do with it? Games just play well on the hardware. So thus far, I've had a lot of positive things to say about switching to AMD in this video, and I would say 90% of it has been a great experience. If there were two things that I could actually say I really don't like about this card and what I don't like about going over to AMD, if you're into ray tracing, it's just better on Nvidia. There's no way around it. DLSS is also better than FSR. There's no way around that. FSR is a bit more grainy. Though I would say if you're buying a brand new graphics card and spending this kind of money and going up to this kind of tier, you shouldn't have to turn on DLSS or FSR under any circumstance. So that shouldn't be a big deal. I believe that those kind of technologies should be reserved for lower and older hardware to help you get a little more life out of it. Maybe, hey, you want to upgrade your graphics card, but the new ones are coming out in 6 months. That's when I think DLSS and FSR should really start becoming a factor. Not when you have like a 4090, a 7900 XTX, XT. That's ridiculous. So those are a couple things, but also VR performance. VR performance in this game, depending on the game you play. If you play like a lot of the lighter stuff, like when I first got the card, I was playing Beat Saber, I was playing Pistol Whip, and it was great. Emulation has been great on this guy also, when just emulating like Switch games, N64 games, GameCube games, stuff like that. But when I tried to play Half-Life Alyx, oof, the performance took a serious nosedive. Stuff was stuttering, textures were shaking around, I'm kind of moving around. It almost seemed like the little balloon you see of the wind guy dancing at a used car lot. It reminded me of that. So yeah, that is definitely a downside to this. I have had a very bad experience with VR on this card. AMD, it says they're aware of the issue and they're going to fix it, but I wouldn't recommend this card to someone who heavily plays VR. I'm a very casual VR player. I'll turn on my headset and maybe play for an hour, a couple weekends a month, maybe 30 minutes or whatever. So I'm not a hardcore VR player. So for me, this isn't a complete deal breaker. But if you are someone who's a heavy VR player, if that's like your main thing is, hey, I play VR, I would avoid AMD right now. This is my first Radeon card that I've ever purchased, my first ever discrete Radeon card. So I don't know if the older cards, because I've heard the 6000 series runs better, but I'm not going to recommend that because I don't have the experience with that with VR. So in closing, I'm actually still, even though the issues I've had with VR are there and apparent, and like I said, the DLSS versus FSR thing and the ray tracing stuff, even though those are major negatives, I think, against the 7900 XT, I don't see any of them as being a deal breaker for me personally. I think it really is going to depend on, how much you want to spend, what kind of games you play, and do you do anything that's really, really reliant on Nvidia. Um, like if you insist on using DLSS and ray tracing, get Nvidia. If you heavily play VR and that's mostly where you spend most of your time gaming at, go Nvidia. If you're like me who spends a lot of time playing just your regular AAA and indie PC games, if you maybe do some Nintendo emulation like I do, then this card is great at that. And if you just wanted to, something that's good value, or maybe just wanted to try something different, like I wanted to try something different, which is why I went AMD in the first place, then it's been great. Haven't had a lot of driver issues outside of actually, I haven't had any driver issues outside of the outside of the VR thing. And so yeah, that's kind of just my thoughts on here on the card and thoughts on switching over to AMD from Nvidia. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Of course, if you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this one, let me know in the comments below. Talk to you soon.